forward to many more of those as the weekend unfolds. And rounding out the podium for his first time in a TA2 car, Will Davison, congratulations. How much fun are you having out there?
A lot of fun, a lot of fun. It was a ball. It's all an experience for me. They get squirmy, these tyres. I was warned about it, and I had a big scare going to the carousel about halfway through. I had smoke coming off my knuckles. I had that much opposite lock going on, but otherwise just built into the race and just stoked to be here. Like, what a venue. Thanks to Next Gen, Josie, Quinny, Paul, who runs the team at TA2 here in New Zealand. A lot of firsts for me today, which is so refreshing. Like, it really learning a new car, a new track after all these years, feeling out of my comfort zone. Bloody loved it. So I thought I saw a safety car board, so I just backed off in the middle of the race when Dylan had an issue, and then I realised, oh, we've got to get racing here. So lucky I didn't drop off this podium.
Not bad for your first attempt at a TA2. Well done, Will. Congratulations, first, second and third for the race one here in the SP Tools TA2.
From the mighty V8s to the fast fours as we get set for Bridgestone GR86 here at Highlands. Let's meet one of the rising stars in this class.
I'm Justin Allen, I'm 30 years old and I hail from Fielding. I got into motorsport through my old man. He was a big influence on my life, building a couple of race cars back in his day, and I guess it finally progressed to me finally getting in a race car, and I've been here well over a decade. My biggest influence has been my mother and father. They've been through my whole motorsport journey, still are to this day, and now it's also passing that on to my own kids as well, so they're now becoming my biggest supporters. My biggest success so far is multiple round wins, race wins in the Toyota 86 Championship, and also finally getting third last year. Now to go for the big one. My ambition is to finally head overseas to Bathurst, at least do a one-off. That's my aim, and then to also now pass on any knowledge I have to these young up-and-coming racers, and that's what I'm trying to do in this series and push them harder and further into their careers. My motorsport idol was probably a little bit controversial in motorsport, but it's definitely Mark Skaife. He was the one that influenced me, you know, through TV, winning Bathurst, winning championships and supercars. You know, he was the icon back in the day with the Golden Child, so definitely Mark Skaife. Favourite race circuit to race on is Manfield. It's a circuit you can go side by side through every single corner. It's fast, it's got technicalities, it's got camber, it's got everything a race driver could ever want. And it's 2 minutes down the road. The GR86 series has been the most competitive series I've ever raced in through my whole career. It's the closest racing, it's the hardest racing. But you've got some of the best competitors we've seen in this country move on to bigger and better things as well. So it's been a series that's literally created some of the future champions of motorsport.
About to unleash the cars for Bridgestone GR86, and we've seen a change at the very top of the standings after last weekend's round at Invercargill too. Chris White is now on top on coming into this event on 545 points from Zach Blinko on 523. The job in qualifying for this first race was done by Hugo Allen. Arthur Braun has been brilliant all weekend so far, but qualifying determines both the grid importantly with pole in that session, determining the feature race, which we will see for this class tomorrow. The second fastest lap, they reward consistency in that qualifying session, helps establish the grid for this first one of the weekend, and that has gone, Ronan Murphy, to the reigning champion in Hugo Allen.
Yeah, it certainly has, and I actually had a brief chat to Hugo after the qualifying session. He wasn't as happy as what I thought he might have been. Like I said, mate, you got the pole for this first race, but he thought there was a little bit more in it.
Okay, Arthur Braun, off the back of a difficult weekend at Invercargill, has bounced here. Second fastest, good job and strong in the qualifying session generally. Chris White, who leads the series out of P3. He is looking comfortable no matter what the conditions in this class. Now, I said rising star, I should have said established star on that piece before with Justin Allen. He's a great benchmark for many in this championship, and he's had a couple of difficult events. The car has not been getting off the corners at Hampton Downs and places like that, and it's frustrated them at Syndicate Motorsport. Clear to say that he's taken a step forward last weekend at Terratonga, and it's continued here. Good work.
Yeah, maybe they've gone back to the drawing board a little bit, maybe back to some basics, and gotten that car in a better window. So Justin's certainly showing his pace. He was very fast here last summer, but unfortunately had a massive crash here coming over the bridge. So he's rebounded massively in a big way, and yeah, to see him on the second row of the grid's great.
A swag of current racers, I should say, those that have got a lot of experience as driver coaches in the pit lane. You'll see some of them during our coverage. Johnny McIntyre is just one of them. Tom Bewley, a former champion in this class. Caleb Nartoa is working, for example, this weekend with AJ Giddy. So there's some great. I mean, you know, to get a racer like that to chat with you as you go, to calm you down when things get a bit heated and so on, that's got to be invaluable. That.
Oh, massively, and as you just said, those guys down at Mackenzie Motorsport, Tom Alexander's another one, just guys that know how to win races, how to win championships at a very high level, and looking after these kids and nurturing them in the best way possible. It's great to see, and there's guys all up and down this paddock that are doing that and working with these young guys. Robbo, or Steve Robinson, as he's known as Robbo by the kids. He's another one over from Australia, working with all the guys at Right Karts by M2 competition. Very, very established and high-level driver coach.
I think they called him the Whisperer back in the day at
Driver
Paul Morris's, didn't they? Yeah.
He was, a bit of part of the furniture at Norwell for a long time, Norwell Motorplex, and he's nowadays working and contracting to different organisations.
I want to say g'day to Paul Morris, who is watching the coverage too. I think he is water skiing somewhere, but he has the live feed up. So good on you, mate. Nice to have you with us. So Hugo Allen in the Mad Butcher entry alongside Arthur Braun. So good to see Arthur back on the pace. I feel a little bit for Mac Templeton, who we saw there weaving his way around back in 11th place at the moment as we get gridded up in the New World St Martin's entry. He's had a couple of tough weekends, and I said to him this morning, just park it. Today's a new day, but he's benchmarking himself against his stablemate in Chris White, who is off grid position 3 for this one. We've seen a bit of tension in recent years in Bridgestone GR86, but this year it's been absolute quality racing, and it's a credit to the drivers and the teams that are running these aspiring races. Hugo Allen, the benchmark, is the reigning champion. Lights go out, away we go in Bridgestone GR86. Good start by Justin Allen. Arthur Braun closes the door and makes that life hard for he and Chris White. Hugo Allen will lead them down into the bus stop for the first time, but it's an angry pack of Colt cars. Arthur Braun puts his nose in front. That's assertive from Arthur Braun on the grass nearly for Hugo Allen. That's a fantastic start to the race.
What a start. Neither of them wanted to back out there at the front. Hugo Allen stayed in there on the outside. They both went up on the curbs. They gave each other room and somehow managed through there in one piece. That is two very, very hotly determined race car drivers. Far out. Wow.
Look at Blinko. Blinko's making moves on cold tyres already. He's arguing. Bit of contact, bit of paint swapping going on with Justin Allen as they fight over 4th place. So that's good stuff on cold tyres from Zach Blinko. I'm really impressed as AJ Giddy goes around the outside with Arthur Braun. He can be a little quietly spoken at times, but man, that was assertive. I really like that start from him.
He's a quiet young man, but he is vicious when that visor goes down, Arthur Braun. How he managed to stay in there, kept his nose in it right till the very end, and finally at the end there had to give in to the reigning champ. That was some racing well beyond those guys' years. As we see there, Mac Templeton, he's just gotten up the inside of Simon Hunter. He was having to look up the inside of Lee Zelltwanger at the same time. Braun is not letting Hugo Allen get away, though. He's still all over the back of the reigning champion, the Mad Butcher car. And he's now looking up the inside. Can he make it work? Not quite. Hugo Allen defends, and now Chris White's going to try and get a piece of the action.
Braun looks fast here. Allen is forced to defend, and I mean, he's using all of the things in the playbook that a champion knows. He's making life tough. Look at the 2 pack and save entries. Chris White just eyeing up the pair of them, and if anything goes wrong, he will be there to pounce. Allen's a couple of car lengths further back. They've got, I think, a new diff in that car, and it's improved, maybe in part. There are other things they've done as well. It's performance, it's drive off the corners. Maybe they've had a little issue there. And Zach Blinko is running right with him. Quickest lap of the race so far, but early days goes to Chris White.
And Hugo Allen all but matched him. Arthur Braun, after having to defend down at the second to last corner there, he lost a little bit of time, and his fastest lap was half a second off those guys. But no doubt, all 3 of them, they've managed to skip away a little bit from Justin Allen and Zach Blinko there in 4th and 5th. So the top 3 at the moment, the pace is red hot.
Quick g'day to Stephen Richards, who's watching on in their Melbourne workshop too. No doubt his son Clay is with him. Clay's raced in this class in Australia, so they're watching the coverage. Great to have you with us, Richo. Nice to see your dad, the great Jimmy Richards, acknowledged too in the recent Australia Day honours. As that's a move for Mac Templeton into, I think that's up to, is that 9th place he's got there? Is whatever it is, he's in the 10. That's a good job by Mac Templeton.
He's still arguing it out with Simon Hunter, who he was fighting on the first lap. So Mac Templeton and Simon Hunter having a bit of a battle there. They've got the Bayswater car of Harry Townsend and behind them there in 12th. As we look now, look at the shot. There's Simon Hunter going down the inside of Mac Templeton. It's forced Mac a little bit wide on the exit, and now Mac's now trying to do the crisscross. He's got Harry Townsend in behind him now, so is Townsend going to give him a little bit of a bump draft to try and get back up the inside of Hunter? Templeton's going to keep the spot. Simon Hunter's then gotten on the brakes a little bit just to try and cross him back over, coming over the bridge. Not quite enough, as we see there, Nico Scholes was actually looking up the inside of Harry Townsend.
Shout out to Nico Scholes. He's joined the action this weekend, and he is hot on the heels of Harry Townsend and Mac Templeton there. And I think you told me earlier in the weekend he's got Tom Bewley, former champion, on the headsets chatting with him through the weekend. That's good stuff. Yeah,
not a bad person to have on the headset to you, especially around a track like this. So we now see them all come in, cross the line. Hugo Allen now sets the fastest lap of the race with a 51.3. Arthur Braun was pretty much the same pace. Chris White was a little bit slower. He was about 6 to 7 tenths slower, so could be a tyre pressure thing. As we saw last round, his car started to come on towards the end of the race at the in that final race at Teretonga. But going back through, Hugo Allen still leading the way. Arthur Braun in 2nd, Chris White there in 3rd, so the pack and save cars 2nd and 3rd. Justin Allen there in 4th, Zach Blinko in 5th. Cooper Barnes is now at the moment, he's holding up AJ Giddy a little bit. Giddy's got pace. He was right up behind the back of Barnes, the young Aussie there, doing a good job there, sitting in 6th.
In our coverage earlier in the day, we introduced you to Masaya Kaji, Kaji's son, who is the director of global motorsport for Toyota GAZOO Racing. It is fantastic to have him here watching on for the weekend and being a part of it. Do you think the up in the tempo is because these drivers are trying to show Kaji-san what they've got? I love that.
No doubt they'll be wanting to put on a great show for Kaji-san and the rest of all the Toyota GAZOO Racing crew that are here this weekend. As we come now onto the back straight, down towards the bridge. We've got Arthur Braun there. He's not too far behind Allen, probably a little bit too far away to be having a go. Justin Allen's actually closed right up the back on Chris White there in 3rd. As we see there, White, he was very wide coming up across the bridge there. Zach Blinko's actually dropped off a little bit behind Justin Allen, so plenty of speed in the 99 car, the Napa car. Allen, he's creeping up to the back of Chris White there in 3rd.
Good to see Justin Allen with some spring in his step. Again, it was a little flat around Hampton Downs and so on, as we see some dirt flying there. I'm not sure what that's about. Meantime, we go back and the 22 of Lee Zeltwanger is going to get the job done. Oh, is that on AJ Giddy? Does he make contact with the wall?
That's no good. That's crab crawling now in the rear, Rusty. We can see it's got a ton of tow out there in the rear. So AJ, oh yeah, that's not good. That's really not good. Is he going to manage to get around? He's now got Mac Templeton behind him. This is going to be a tricky situation to manage.
He's fighting that car. Look at them, and they've all closed up there. So Harry Townsend senses an opportunity. Nico Scholes is in there as well. That's a fearsome little battle pack, that one. Allen leading by 0.5 of a second over Arthur Braun. Here we go.
Templeton, he gave him a bit of a rub there, but it was probably necessary to try and get round him because he's got a very angry pack of cars behind him there, does AJ Giddy. Mac Templeton's now going to try go around the outside through the carousel. It may or may not work. Templeton's going to hold on. Oh, and he gives him a big nudge on the exit there. They're still going at it. They're still arguing it. But Templeton's now managed to clear him, and now Simon Hunter's now trying to go around the outside of Giddy.
This is a tight left-hander here. Where would Mac Templeton park the car? AJ Giddy goes tight. So does Simon Hunter looking, but it's a much better flow with that slightly wider line, and that works for Mac Templeton.
It certainly was, and it actually looked like for a bit there Simon Hunter was going to get the back of Mac Templeton's car, but he was under control. He got it stopped, and now he's up beside Giddy. He's going to take that position away. Giddy's really in trouble now. He's clearly in a bit of pain and suffering from that hit that we saw on the last lap up at the final corners. Now Nico Scholes down the inside of Harry Townsend, and Lucas McGill, the Wolfbrook Foundation winner and Tony Quinn Foundation scholarship winner, he's now trying to attack the back of Jack Suchek there.
Oh, Scholes.
Oh, and Cameron Hill's gone around as well, so we've lost 2 cars in that melee down at the reverse Indy corner.
I feel for Cameron Hill, that Northland Toyota entry, we would ordinarily expect Ronan to be well inside the top 10, not at that area or line of the field, so to speak. Now, he is fighting things, as Ronan said, AJ Giddy, but I love the tenacity, not giving up at the moment. Now, Harry Townsend is sizing him up here. Yeah,
and you can see that car, the rear of it oscillates through the corners because the toe on the left side of that wheel is facing way out. It looks like it's almost 4-wheel steering through the corners, so he's in big trouble with that. That car clearly hit the wall hard. You can see it squirming under brakes. Obviously, the drive train and the rear, the shafts are still working as they should, but the car's just very badly out of whack on the left side, so he's going to struggle. As you can see there, it was facing the wrong way going into the corner from the rear. It's going to be a big struggle to get to the end for AJ Giddy, but he's holding on.
Let's have a little look at what transpires here. So Giddy goes off a little there, but this is the most telling one. So in the fight with the 22 of Lee Zeltwinger, but out in the dirty stuff, and does make contact with the wall. Significant contact too.
And this was brilliant and pretty tenacious from Mac Templeton to get. He gave AJ a little bit of a rub, thought he was clear, realised he wasn't because he ran a little bit wide, but he's stuck at it on the outside. And then we saw here this big group of cars there. Nico Scholes got ran into, and then Cameron Hill, to try and avoid it all, ended up spinning around. So a little bit of Cameron Hill. He had so much speed last season. He's just been struggling the last couple of rounds. Maybe needs to do a bit of searching with the car and figure out, try and get himself a bit more comfortable. But we see there, AJ Giddy still powering on. And Rusty, I think there were 2 critical things that led to AJ Giddy hitting the wall. One was he ran wide on the exit of the reverse Indy corner, so he got dirt on his tyres. So the grip of the car becomes slippery because it's got slippery surface underneath the rubber. And then on top of that, he was slightly wide because he had a car up the inside of him. So the combination of having the dirt on your tyres and being offline and a little bit wide has meant he slid out off the racing line and into the wall.
Shout out to Joe, who's running the 6 drone cam for us today. He's been busy in this race. It's had a fair workout. So back we go to our race lead. Hugo Allen by 0.2 over Arthur Braun. Chris White has dropped back. Justin Allen is energised here. Could he get that Napa entry into the top 3? It's been kind of a bit slim for him as far as trophies are concerned this season. He's eyeing one up. And no, look at the damage. Is that... That's AJ Giddy and the Tony Quinn. Yeah, Lucas McGill, the Tony Quinn Foundation.
That's going to be a safety car for sure. There is huge damage as we just see the safety car get called. So something bad, real bad has gone on down there. It looks like both the doors are open on the cars, so both the lads are okay, but that is huge contact. You can see there the front end of McGill's car is caved in, so too AJ Giddy's. So both front ends on those cars are damaged, so maybe there's more to the story. Have they ended up running into some other cars along the way? We saw how aggressive and angry that pack was getting towards the back of the top 10 there, or just past the top 10 on the last couple of laps. So something's obviously occurred there, and it's hopefully both the guys. We haven't seen anyone out of the cars yet, but that may well could spell the end of the race, being that there's going to be a lot to try and clear up down there.
We have a great team working on recovery and on the medical side here at Highlands, so they go to work. Let's hope AJ Giddy is okay. There hasn't got out of the car yet, and from the other Okay, we're hearing, sorry, I'm just getting a communication as this is unfolding. So we have had a thumbs up from both drivers, so that's important to, we don't know condition of them yet, obviously, but it's important to pass that on to you. We've at least had a thumbs up. So there's Caleb Nutsower there, who, as we said earlier in the broadcast, works the radio for AJ Giddy and driver coaches more specifically. That's what I should say in terms of the role that he's playing this weekend. And I feel for this young man because he and the family work incredibly hard. It's been a big step for him coming out of karting, never having driven a race car of any kind before. So there you go. Both drivers are out and okay. So that's positive. That's really good news. But some significant damage down there. Let's have a little look at this here and see if this tells more of the story.
Oh, and the teammates. So you've got Townsend and Giddy there. And Harry, he's just nudged the side there of Giddy's car. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that explains it. And unfortunately there, he was up on the curbs there. Maybe AJ didn't see him. He turned, and then Jack Suchek did a good job to miss them. But unfortunately there, nowhere for Lucas McGill to go. And unfortunately the young bloke, the Tony Quinn Foundation scholarship winner and Wolfbrook scholarship winner there, unfortunately had nowhere to go, and he's gone straight into the front of AJ Giddy's car there. So a lot of work going to be for both the James Marshall Motorsport crew, who run Lucas McGill's car, and Mackenzie Motorsport in the number 10 car.
So they go to work to recover some bent cars and some stray body work. We can hear the Somerset GT machines starting to warm up and make their way toward the dummy grid. So will we see this finish under safety car? Hopefully that car of Lucas McGill's can be repaired in time for tomorrow's racing, but that is decent, Ronan, isn't it? Whew.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of damage to the front of that car there. It's more than likely punched through into the radiator. I'm sure they'll have to have a look at the front part of the chassis there and the chassis rails and check that all that's okay, because obviously the contact was directly square on into the side of the front of AJ Giddy's car. So I'm sure there'll be a sizable amount of damage to the number 10 car as well, the OP Contractors car. But going back to sort of what was happening at the front there, it actually looked, Arthur Braun was looking very racy, Rusty, and he was looking like he was getting pretty close to trying to prime an attack onto Hugo Allen, the reigning champion, but that's now going to be cut short, and more than likely, I doubt we're going to get a restart on this next lap, so that's more than likely going to solidify these positions that they're in behind the safety car.
Blinker would have been hoping for a restart here, Ronan. So just to recap the points for you as they came into the weekend, Chris White, following the great work that he's done in recent rounds, but particularly at Teretonga, he moved to the top of the points ladder at Teretonga on 5:45. Zach Blinko on 5:23. Now, Chris is currently third in this race. Zach is fifth. So that does help Chris White in the title race, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. And Chris, he's a real smart young lad. He'll know that for sure, where everyone's placed, and knowing that he's third. Hugo Allen's obviously still in the championship hunt as well, but he's a few points behind Chris, down in fifth. So Chris will be knowing where Zach Blinko and Josh Bethune are. They're both behind him. Josh is down in eighth as well, so he's probably was hoping that there'd be a race restart as well. But unfortunately, it's looking at this stage like that is not going to be the case. Huge amount of damage to the front of both of those cars, so it's going to be, unfortunately, a lot of work for both the crews down at James Marshall Motorsport and Mackenzie Motorsport to get those cars back on the road for the morning's race.
Couple of young blokes racing there too. Awkward when it comes to the review in race control, because obviously they'll have to look into that incident, won't they, with Harry Townsend and with AJ Giddy. Yeah,
no doubt. Harry Townsend, he's a great kid, and he's been driving so well, and he certainly wouldn't have meant any harm by that, but he was trying to go down the inside there. AJ, whether he saw him or not, braked incredibly late, and unfortunately they both, two cars trying to go into one piece of road, and unfortunately AJ got half turned, and then he sort of had to wait for the field to go past before he could get going, and unfortunately Lucas McGill was right in behind all of that and collected the side of the front of Giddy's car.
How did Mac Templeton? Mac Templeton's been able to get to ninth, so a bit of progress there for him. He'll want more than that. There's Harry, who we were just talking about. GR Supra safety car controls the field. As you can see from the totem on your left of screen, we are on the final lap, so this is going to finish under safety car. Hugo Allen, the reigning champion, will add another win to his tally, and Ronan's just talked about where he is in the points standings or on the points ladder, so that's good for him in the defence of the title. Well done to Arthur Braun as well to be able to park and put the Teretonga weekend well behind him and to come back strong here. And you have to say, and we'll see it in the highlights again in a moment, the I used that word already, assertiveness around the race start, and that battle with Allen was mighty going into the bus stop.
Oh, that was on for young and old down there at the bus stop on the first lap, Rusty. That was a incredible bit of racing between those young guys. They gave each other enough room. They got through safely, but for a moment there, we were certainly holding our breaths, and the old heart rate was spiking a bit. It was pretty hairy going through there, but neither of them wanted to give an inch, and they both knew that the one that gave in was more than likely to lose the race at the end there. So Arthur Braun, he held on till the very last point that he possibly could. Unfortunately for him, Hugo Allen, the reigning champion, so experienced in these cars, he knew exactly where he needed to place that car, and it's going to end up paying dividends. Checkered
flag's about to be waved. It finishes under safety car. Hugo Allen will take it out. Well done to our current champion in Bridgestone GR86. Arthur Braun, a well-deserved second. That's a good fight back from last weekend, and Chris White adds yet more points to his series lead.
Hugo Allen puts the #1 car back in the #1 spot. Arthur Braun there, great job to come home in second.
So recap of the final standings for you. Our first one of the weekend for Bridgestone GR86. He's been in good form all week. In fact, he's worked here with Toyota with some of their GR Drive Experience programs. Hugo Allen here in the days between Teretonga and Highlands. He starts the weekend with a win from young Arthur Braun. Chris White rounds out your top three. Justin Allen, as I said before, so much experience in this class, and it's nice to see that it's getting back to the kind of form we're used to from him. Zach Blinko, our early series leader, is fifth, and a bit to unpick at the back of the field, including the damaged cars for AJ Giddy and Lucas McGill. Highlights time for you in Bridgestone GR86. It was a great start, particularly for Arthur Braun. Look at him, up on two wheels, assertive through the bus stop and fighting with Hugo Allen for the race lead. There was a fight on in behind as well for that fourth spot, with Justin Allen getting the upper early hand over Zach Blinko. Contact with the wall for AJ Giddy, and that would really wound that car.
And that right there, that spurred everything on from then, all the action that unfolded after that, going down there. Mac Templeton with that move around the outside. Nico Scholes got fed off the road. Cam Hill got turned around, or turned himself around, and we see there Harry Townsend. Oh, and that just did not, that's a sickening sight when you see that. Never nice to see. Luckily, both lads were okay, AJ Giddy and Lucas McGill, but in the end, the reigning champion, Hugo Allen, #1 on the side of the car, came home in that #1 position. Arthur Braun there in second. Chris White did a great job to round out the podium and solidify his position at the top of the championship standings currently.
Saturday's offering here on Sky Sport in New Zealand, live and local, and of course on Fox and KO in Australia, YouTube around the world. Still a lot to come your way, including Somerset GT Racing and the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy, with Rihanna chasing some big stories down there in the pit lane at the moment. And we'll update you on those in the run-up to race start for our Saturday race for CT Front, as we affectionately know it. Tomorrow, the Grand Prix, of course, the 70th running of the Napa New Zealand Grand Prix, and all of the build-up that will bring you to that, all of the tradition. And we've been reflecting, if you haven't seen our coverage, if you've just tuned in now, we have some beautiful historic packages that look back over the different eras of the New Zealand Grand Prix and some of the great names who've come through it from both New Zealand and abroad, for that matter, over the years. One of two Grand Prix still allowed to be called such that aren't a part of the Formula One calendar, like Macau. A very, very special thing, Ronan.
It's incredibly special, Rusty, and it's something that needs to be recognised and celebrated across New Zealand, because
and beyond,
and beyond, because it's such a special privilege to be a country that gets to host a FIA recognised Grand Prix. And as you just said, outside Formula One, Macau and the New Zealand Grand Prix are the two that still get the right to call it that. And you know, it's incredible history, incredible heritage, and something that you know, we need to keep celebrating and keep emphasising, because it's incredibly special.
I think it's so nice to see some of the young stars that are in that field this year and that will be going on to race in Formula 3 and so on, just appreciating what the New Zealand Grand Prix stands for and what it would mean to put their name on that very special trophy. So we're in Allied Petroleum victory lane, just waiting for Hugo Allen to jump out of the Mad Butcher 86 there, and we'll hear from them very shortly.
As we see there, Hugo getting out of the car, he'll be absolutely wrapped with that one. He's such a focused and determined young man, and he's bundles of talent there in between the ears of Hugo Allen, and he'll be no doubt, he's still got a serious look on his face, so he'll be more than already thinking about the next race, I'm sure, and how he's going to try and fight his way to the front for that reverse top 10 race. But let's go down to Reed, down in Allied Petroleum victory lane.
And as we continue to have the sun shining on us here at this beautifully presented Highlands Motorsport Park, we welcome our podium receivers for the first race of the Bridgestone Toyota GR86 series. Congratulations, Hugo Allen, IMAC Engineering. He's our defending champion. I want to know about that opening lap. That was authoritative. That was awesome.
Yeah, we got a super even start. So, yeah, just had to hold it on the inside. I think my start was slightly better, and then he started to get the side draft. So, yeah, the boys set the car up pretty nicely for those first few laps. So big thanks to IMAC Race Engineering, Toddy and Ian do a fantastic job of running these cars. So it's just a privilege to run with them. And big thank you to the Mad Butcher as well for giving me the opportunity. It's not quite when we wanted to win our first race of the season, but we're just going to keep chipping away, and hopefully we can be there in the end.
It's awesome to see you back up here in victory lane and taking out second place from Mackenzie Motorsport, Arthur Bruin. Arthur, it was a tough round last time out at Terratonga. Great way to bounce back.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome to be back up the front. It was a bit of a shame. There was a safety car there at the end. The car was really coming on there at the end. So big thanks to the Mackenzie Motorsport boys for a rapid car.
Well done, congratulations. And running out our third place for the opening race here from Neil Motorsport is Chris White. Congratulations, Chris. This is really important points for your championship fight. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. Like, I mean, we're just sort of chipping away at the moment. Like in the last 7 races, we've had 6 podiums. So we're just chipping forward in the championship, gaining those valuable points. So to get a P3 in that one's pretty good, knowing that we're going to start second in the last race on Sunday. So tune the car up a little bit more, work a bit more on myself, and see how we go tomorrow.
Well done. Congratulations. As awesome. Always awesome racing in the Toyota Series.
It's time for the podium presentation for Race 1, Round 4 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship, and delighted to welcome the CEO of Toyota New Zealand, Tatsuya Ishikawa, to present the trophies today. Welcome, Tatsuya. In third place from Neil Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen, Chris White. In second place from Mackenzie Motorsport, it's Arthur Bruin. And your winner in race 1 here at Highlands, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for IMAC Engineering's Hugo Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your podium for race 1, round 4 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship.
Special moment for those competitors. We've got a lot more 86 racing to come your way this weekend. A commercial break, and on the way, we're going to soak up a bit more history from the New Zealand Grand Prix.
The drivers that competed in New Zealand during the summers of the 2010s reads like a who's who of current top flight motorsport. The list of winners of the New Zealand Grand Prix was no different.
You only have to look at the current Formula One grid to see how many drivers